Welcome to TechDaily.ai. I'm your host, David, and joining me today is our incredible guest expert, Sophia. You can sponsor this podcast for just $25. Your message will be featured across major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and more. If you're interested, visit TechDaily.ai to get started today. So, diving right into things today, we have a truly fascinating topic to cover. We are looking at one of the most highly anticipated, heavily rumored, and frankly, completely unexpected tech announcements of the entire year.
It really is. I mean, nobody really saw this exact execution coming.
Right. We are talking about Apple's brand new entry-level laptop. It's the 13-inch MacBook Neo, and it is launching at a starting price of just $599.
Which is, well, it's a massive pivot for the industry. A $599 price point fundamentally changes who has access to the macOS ecosystem. Historically, you've had to spend nearly double that just to get your foot in the door with a new machine.
And our mission today is to figure out exactly how a premium tech giant pulled this off without, completely losing their shirt.
Yeah.
We're going to examine what happens when you take a smartphone chip and literally drop it directly into a laptop chassis.
It's a bold move, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're also going to look closely at the clever and honestly highly controversial compromises they had to make to hit that breakthrough price tag. And ultimately, we want to help you, the listener, figure out if this colorful new machine is the right fit for your everyday life, whether that's for your studies or your remote work setup.
There is a tremendous amount of strategy to unpack here, especially when you look past the glossy marketing and dig into the fine print of the tech reports. It really is a masterclass in aggressive product segmentation.
Let's start with how this whole thing was revealed, because it wasn't a polished stage presentation with sweeping drone footage. The way the news broke was a complete accident.
Human error is always the wild card with these massive tech launches.
Exactly. On Tuesday, March 3rd, literally the day before the official announcement, Apple accidentally tipped its own hand. I was looking through the news reports, and it seems a regulatory document for an EU compliance filing briefly appeared on the official website. And right there in the open, tagged as Model A3404, was the name MacBook Neo. Can you explain how a famously secretive company let something like that slip?
Well, regulatory filings are often the Achilles heel of modern tech launches. In order to legally sell any electronic device with wireless capabilities in the European Union, companies are required to file these compliance documents publicly.
To prove they're safe, right?
Right. They prove the device meets safety and environmental standards. Usually, companies manage to keep the actual marketing names redacted using internal code names until the very final second. But human error happens. Someone clearly pushed an update to the public database a day early.
And tech journalists spotted it immediately. They published the finding, and just a few minutes later, the link was completely scrubbed from the site. But you know how it is. The internet is written in ink.
Oh, the public reaction was instantaneous.
It was wild. The comment sections on major tech boards completely blew up. People immediately started joking about the name. Several commenters brought up Microsoft's old, abandoned dual-screen device, the Surface Neo. One person literally commented, "Cupertino, start your photocopiers."
I mean, it is a fair historical reference. The Surface Neo was announced years ago and then famously canceled before it ever hit store shelves. But beyond the joke, the Neo moniker is a very deliberate psychological framing device.
I wanted to ask you about that, actually. We are so used to names like Air, Pro, and Studio. Why break that naming convention now?
Because Neo translates to new or revived. Apple is purposefully carving out an entirely new, ultra-accessible tier in their lineup. By not calling this a MacBook Air, they are protecting the premium brand identity of the Air, which currently sits at a higher price point and uses dedicated, higher-end desktop chips.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the name Neo resets your expectations. It tells you immediately that this is not a traditional laptop. It is a brand new category of budget computing.
And it really isn't a traditional laptop at all, which brings us to the biggest twist of this entire release. The brain running everything you do on this machine is not one of their famous M-series desktop chips. There was no M3, M4, M5 inside this thing.
They went in a completely different direction.
They really did. The tech documents reveal the MacBook Neo is powered by the A18 Pro. That is a mobile processor. It is the exact same chip originally designed for the iPhone 16 Pro.
Which is a profound shift in our hardware engineering. It answers a question the industry has been asking for years. Can a smartphone chip realistically run a full desktop operating system for the masses?
And looking at the official announcements, the answer seems to be a resounding yes. But before we get into the speed, the reports mention it is paired with 8 gigabytes of non-upgradable unified memory. For a listener who's used to buying a Windows PC with maybe 16 or 32 gigs of standard RAM, why do you use the term unified, and is 8 gigabytes actually going to be enough?
That is a great question. In a traditional PC, your computer's memory, the RAM, is a separate chip sitting on the motherboard, physically far away from the processor. When the computer needs to do something, data has to travel back and forth across a microscopic highway.
Which takes time and energy.
Exactly. Unified memory means the memory is built directly onto the processor itself. It is all one single hyper-efficient unit. Think of it like cooking in a kitchen. Traditional RAM is like having your ingredients in a pantry down the hall.
You have to keep walking back and forth to get where you need.
Right. Unified memory is like having all your ingredients already chopped up on the cutting board right in front of you. Because it is so much more efficient, 8 gigabytes of unified memory performs closer to 16 gigabytes of standard RAM for everyday tasks.
Okay, that makes it a lot less scary for a prospective buyer.
Yeah.
So let's look at the hard numbers, because they are staggering for a $599 machine. The A18 Pro features a 6-core CPU, a 5-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine.
The performance metrics are really what sell the concept.
Yeah, Apple claims that compared to the best-selling PC running the latest Intel Core Ultra 5 processor, which is a very common, very capable traditional laptop chip, the MacBook Neo is up to 50% faster for everyday web browsing.
And try to picture what that 50% actually feels like in practice. Think about how heavy modern websites are. Imagine you are a student or you are working from home. You have 20 browser tabs open for a research project. Spotify is playing in the background, your email client is constantly refreshing, and you are running a background tool to proofread your writing.
That is a heavy load for a budget machine.
It is. On a traditional $600 budget PC, that is the exact moment your cursor starts lagging, your screen stutters, and the internal fan starts sounding like a jet engine taking off.
Exactly. But with the Neo, because of that mobile chip, it behaves differently. If it's an iPhone chip, it's designed to run inside a tiny enclosed piece of glass and metal in your pocket without overheating. So putting it inside a spacious 13-inch laptop chassis means it doesn't need a cooling fan at all.
Precisely. It is completely 100% silent. You could be exporting a massive presentation file or running a heavy translation program, and you will not hear a single whir or hum. For the average user simply needing to browse the web, write documents, and run casual tasks, a smartphone brain has more than enough horsepower to completely replace a traditional laptop processor.
And it goes beyond just browsing. The reports note that for on-device AI tasks, like applying advanced photo effects or using the cleanup tool in the Photos app to instantly remove background objects, it is up to 3 times faster than that same Intel Core Ultra 5 PC.
3 times faster is a generational leap for this price bracket.
It really is. At $599, my immediate assumption was that they were going to put a cheap, plastic, washed-out screen on this thing to make up for the cost of that powerful chip, did they?
Surprisingly, no. And this is where their supply chain mastery really shines. They know exactly where to spend money to make the device feel premium and exactly where to cut corners to protect their profit margins.
Let's start with the premium features, because what you get for the price is honestly shocking. They kept a stunning 13-inch Liquid Retina display. We are talking about a resolution of 2408 by 1504, 500 nits of brightness, and support for 1 billion colors.
And don't forget the anti-reflective coating.
Yes, it has an anti-reflective coating to make it comfortable to use outdoors or in bright offices. Most PC laptops in the $600 range give you a dim, gray, low-resolution plastic screen where you can barely read text in the sunlight.
Keeping that premium panel was a brilliant psychological choice. Think about it. You are interacting with the screen 100% of the time you use the device. If the screen looks cheap, the whole computer feels cheap. By maintaining that Liquid Retina display, they ensure it still delivers a premium experience that sets it apart from budget competitors.
And the physical design. It weighs only 2.7 pounds. It has these beautiful, soft, rounded corners on an aluminum enclosure. And the colors are just incredibly fun and nostalgic. You can get in blush, indigo, silver, and a brand new citrus color.
The color-matched accessories are a nice touch, too.
Yeah, even the Magic Keyboard is color-matched in lighter shades. It immediately reminded me of the classic, colorful iBook G3 clamshells from the early 2000s. It feels like a throwback to an era when computers were allowed to be playful.
It definitely targets that nostalgia, while also appealing directly to younger demographics who want their technology to feel personalized rather than looking like a rigid corporate workstation.
You're also getting a 1080p FaceTime HD camera, dual side-firing speakers with spatial audio, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 6, and dual microphones with directional beamforming. What exactly does directional beamforming mean for the person working from a noisy coffee shop?
It is a massive quality of life feature. Beamforming microphones use phase differences in sound waves to essentially figure out exactly where your mouth is located. It then focuses its audio capture purely on that specific area, digitally ignoring the sound of the espresso machine or the people talking at the table next to you. Your voice comes through crystal clear on video calls.
On paper, everything we've talked about sounds like a $1,000 laptop. So here is where I have to push back. How are they hitting this $599 price? What are the clever compromises? Because there is always a catch.
There are several catches, and some of them are quite severe depending on your daily workflow. Let's start with the power delivery.
Right. The battery life is rated for up to 16 hours on a single charge, which sounds fantastic. But the charging itself is a major bottleneck. The documents show the MacBook Neo only supports 20-watt charging. Wait, 20 watts. That is literally what I use to fast charge my phone. Modern laptops use 60, 70, or even over 100 watts to charge quickly. Isn't a 20-watt limit going to take forever to charge a laptop battery?
It is going to take a very long time. If you run the Neo down to 0, you are looking at several hours connected to the wall to get back to a full 100%. Furthermore, there is absolutely no MagSafe charging.
Wow, so that great magnetic charging cable is just gone.
Completely absent here. You have to charge via a standard USB-C cable.
Okay, but it gets worse. I was reading through the port specifications. The Neo has 2 USB-C ports. One of them is a fast USB 3 port, which is standard. But the other one, it's a much slower USB 2 port, a USB 2 port. In 2026, that technology is genuinely ancient. It maxes out at 480 megabits per second compared to modern ports that transfer gigabits per second. Isn't that going to infuriate a student trying to back up a massive final video project to an external drive?
It absolutely will, if that is how they try to use it. But this is a calculated compromise. Apple is banking on the fact that the target demographic for this specific laptop casual home users and budget-conscious buyers are mostly relying on cloud storage like iCloud, Google Drive, or Dropbox. They aren't plugging in massive physical hard drives to transfer 4K video footage.
But still, to limit the hardware that much feels aggressively stingy.
It does, but look at the intended use case. If you only use that second, slower port to plug in a wired mouse, a printer, or just the charging cable, you will never notice the slower data speed. However, if you want to connect an external monitor, you have to remember to only use the left side USB 3 port. The right side USB 2 port simply won't push enough data to support a display.
That is going to cause a lot of confused support calls. But maybe the biggest shocker for me, the compromise that feels the most punishing, is the security segmentation. Touch ID, the fingerprint sensor that lets you instantly unlock your computer, autofill passwords, or pay for things with a tap, is completely missing on the base $599 model. You are telling me I have to physically type my password every single time I open the lid like it's 2014 unless I pay more.
Yes. It is a classic aggressive upselling technique. The friction of typing a complex password dozens of times a day is incredibly annoying for modern users who are used to biometric security on their phones.
So what's the upgrade path if you can't stand typing the password?
If you want Touch ID, you are forced to upgrade to the $699 model. That extra $100 gets you the fingerprint sensor, and it also bumps your internal storage from 256 gigabytes up to 512 gigabytes. So for you, the listener, you have to evaluate your own tolerance for friction. Are you willing to wait longer for your laptop to charge? Are you okay remembering which port is the fast one? And are you willing to physically type in your password to save $100?
For a student on a strict budget, the answer is probably yes. The friction is a small price to pay to get access to the broader software ecosystem. Let's get into that software, because the Neo ships with the brand new macOS Tahoe. And despite having a mobile chip, the reports emphasize it is fully capable of running advanced AI features. I keep seeing the term 16-core neural engine in the official announcements. For the listener who just wants to write a term paper or send emails, what does a neural engine actually do?
The neural engine is dedicated hardware specifically designed to process machine learning and artificial intelligence tasks locally. Instead of the processor struggling to do the math, it hands it off to the specialized chip. This allows the $599 user to easily handle Apple Intelligence features. We are talking about writing tools that can completely rewrite your emails to sound more professional, live translation during video calls, and the ability to instantly summarize long, complex documents in the Notes app.
And doing it locally is a big deal for privacy.
Exactly. By ensuring the A18 Pro chip can handle these generative models locally on the device, your personal data, your private emails, your rough drafts never has to be sent to a cloud server to be analyzed. It stays securely on your laptop.
The synergy with the smartphone is also wild. The MacBook Neo essentially acts as a seamless extension of your phone. You get all the continuity features. There's handoff, where you can start typing a message on your phone while walking to your desk, sit down, and seamlessly finish it on the Neo. There's the universal clipboard, meaning you can copy a long tracking number on your iPhone and just hit paste on the laptop keyboard. But the coolest part has to be iPhone mirroring.
iPhone mirroring is a complete game changer for daily workflows. It allows you to view and fully interact with your phone directly on the laptop's 13-inch screen. You can respond to mobile-only messaging apps, order food delivery, and manage all your push notifications using the laptop's trackpad and keyboard without ever taking your actual phone out of your pocket or backpack.
It really reinforces the idea that these devices share the exact same logic. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about the physical manufacturing, because I was reading through the environmental documents, and the stats are seriously impressive. The Neo is officially the lowest carbon MacBook Apple has ever produced.
The environmental milestone shouldn't be overlooked. Typically, hitting a $599 price point in the tech industry means relying on cheaper, less sustainable virgin plastics and heavily polluting supply chains. But they went the complete opposite direction here.
The reports state the Neo features 60% recycled content overall, which is their highest percentage yet. It uses 90% recycled aluminum for the enclosure. Plus, it has 100% recycled cobalt in the battery. I know a bit about battery tech, and recycling cobalt at a massive global scale is notoriously difficult. Why is that such a big deal?
Cobalt is a highly efficient metal used to keep batteries stable, but mining it is historically fraught with severe ethical and environmental issues. Extracting raw cobalt takes a massive toll on local ecosystems. Figuring out how to reclaim and recycle 100% of the cobalt from old, dead batteries and purify it to be used in millions of brand new laptops is a massive industrial triumph.
It's incredible. And they also mentioned a new forming process that requires 50% less aluminum overall compared to their traditional machining methods.
And that ties right back to the price. When you innovate the manufacturing process to use 50% less raw material to form the chassis, you save millions of dollars on aluminum. Those material savings help subsidize the cost of keeping that gorgeous Liquid Retina display while still hitting the $599 retail price. Sustainable manufacturing, when done efficiently, actually helps the bottom line.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Looking at the final release details, the MacBook Neo starts shipping on March 11th. It starts at $599. And if you are a student or work in education, there's a discount that drops it all the way down to $499. That is just an unbelievable price for a brand new machine in this ecosystem. You get your choice of blush, indigo, citrus, or silver.
It really is an unprecedented blend of mobile efficiency and desktop productivity. By utilizing the A18 Pro chip, they have managed to dramatically lower the barrier to entry. Yes, the slower charging and the USB 2 port are frustrating compromises, but for a student or casual user, getting a premium screen, a solid aluminum build, and silent performance for under $600 is an incredibly smart, aggressive play to capture the education market and lock them into the ecosystem for years to come.
It really makes you think about where the entire tech industry is heading, which leaves us with a lingering, provocative thought for you to ponder. If a mobile phone chip, the exact same tiny square of silicon running in a pocket-sized device, can now seamlessly power a full-fledged, multitasking, AI-driven laptop experience for the masses. Wait, what does the word computer even mean anymore? Are we witnessing the beginning of the end for traditional desktop processors entirely?
It is a profound shift in how we view hardware. The physical shape of the device is just becoming a different window into the exact same brain.
Something to think about the next time you look at the phone sitting in the palm of your hand. That is all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us as we explored the latest tech news, and we'll catch you on the next one.